Well, hello everybody. Doug Rucker here with DougRuckerSchool.com and DougRuckerStore.com. Had a viewer request about how to make a drop tube for your tanks that will help you draw your bleach solution, water, soap, whatever you need to draw, whether you're downstreaming or using a soft wash system like our KINGSLINGER. So I'm going to talk about drop tubes and how to assemble one coming up next. All right, everybody. When you're there's a couple different ways you can assemble drop tube fittings, and pretty much everything I'm going to show you, you can get probably locally at Home Depot or Lowe's or something like that. A Tractor Supply, any place, especially that sells bulkhead fittings. You can get these parts probably locally, or you can get them on our website, DougRuckerStore.com. But one of the most, I wouldn't say most popular ways, but one of the ways that we've always done bulkhead fittings, and I'm going to be using the top of a 5-gallon lid to act as a tank, but it's plastic just like a tank would be. So for demonstration purposes, I'm going to use this to make and show demonstrations. But one of the ways is simply using a bulkhead fitting like this. This would go in the top of the tank, and it would actually look like this. And so you could very easily drill your hole, and I've got another video which I'll put in the card right up above that's called Bulkhead Fitting Installation, that can show you how to install a bulkhead using the hole saw and all that kind of stuff. But basically it's going to look like this. This doesn't come up quite high enough, but you've got your bulkhead fitting that's going to sit like this. This goes on the underside with the larger gasket, and you're just going to simply come up through your hole that you have used your hole saw, and then you can use a plastic fitting, whether it be a 90 or a straight. In most cases you want to use a 90 so that your hose doesn't come up and bend. You want to come straight off like that, and then you don't get a kink in your hose. And so that's one of the most popular ways. That would be the top portion. And then down on the bottom, there's a couple different ways you could do it. You could use another fitting, which would be a straight fitting in the bottom of the tank, and then connect some 1/2-inch poly braided hose that would go to the bottom of the tank. The only thing with that is you'd want something to weight it, like a PVC 90 that you could shove your hose through, maybe a couple of them. Anything that you can use that's not metal that would keep this weighted down onto the bottom of your tank. Another way, a little bit more popular way, and we've done it this way before, is using a PVC threaded two-coupler that you can get at Home Depot or Lowe's. And so that would screw right into there. And then you'd want to use some PVC pipe cleaner. That's the purple stuff, which cleans the pipe. Let's say you've got a 1/2-inch piece of PVC like this that you're going to use. So you'd clean it with a purple cleaner. Then you'd use some PVC cement, and you'd put a little cement here, a little cement here, and then you can put this up in like that. And then that would go down all the way to the bottom of the tank. So you just have to cut it to the length that you want. And what I usually do is take my PVC cutters, and I don't have them here, but I'll kind of make it at an angle so it's not flat on the bottom. But I'm trying to get this as close to the bottom of the tank as I possibly can, and then just cut a slight little angle on it so it can draw up really well and get plenty of volume. One thing that a lot of people use that I don't like are these sand filters. You could attach this at the bottom if you wanted some type of filter on the bottom of it. I don't use these for a couple of reasons. One, I think they restrict the flow. The little notches in here are very, very small, and I just don't trust that they're pulling all of the solution that is possible. So I leave it open. The way we do our tanks is we never have to open the lid, so we don't get a whole lot of trash in there. Maybe some residue from the bleach mix or the soap down at the bottom every now and then, which we just flush it out. But have never had a problem not using a filter, so we don't use any type of filtration. We just leave this open. So that's one way you can do it, using, again, a threaded to coupler. And you could get this if you wanted to use 1/2 inch. You would just get a 1/2 inch to 1/2 inch threaded to coupler piece like this. You could get it in 3/4 inch if you wanted to. Doesn't really matter. So that's one way you can do it. Another way, there are bulkhead fittings like this. We don't have them on our site yet, but we will soon. Probably be a few days before we get them on. But these are nice bulkhead fittings. I like these. They're a little easier to work with. It's threaded on the top here and also here, but it is slip here. And you can get this gray PVC, and again, coat it with the purple to clean it, and then your PVC cement, and then you can just slide it into there, and then you've got a nice long drop tube. Again, we would just angle this off at the bottom. So that's one way you could do a drop stick. Another way, using this style bulkhead fitting, is you can get this electrical conduit that's threaded on both ends, and you could actually just screw your bulkhead, or screw this into your bulkhead fitting once it's inside the tank. Okay, and then you could actually, if you wanted to use one of these sand filters, you could screw the other end to this, but this has to be exact what you're going to use, the pipe size, if you're going to use the threaded ends on both sides. But again, you don't like using those filters, so we don't do it this way. Ooh, looks like it's plugged, dirt daubers. So that's one way you can do it. The way that we do it on all of ours is we use these type, and it's got it, like I said, it's got a slip. So that's very, very easy to install. Just need some PVC cement to do that. And then at the top, again, you can put in, wrong side, you can put in your barb fitting for your hose. And again, you don't want it going like that. You'd rather have a 90 so it comes straight off and goes to whatever machine, KINGSLINGER, pressure washer, downstream injector, whatever you're using. If you're using this type, this is basically what it's going to look like. Just pretend that my fingers are the tank. And so that's what it would look like at the top with a 90 fitting. You can see how nice that goes kind of straight out to whatever you're going to use, and less chance of it crimping or flexing if you were using this type, and it has to go up and then come down. So we always use 90s on the top of our bulkhead fittings. The other way that you can do it, something new that I got off of Matt, his name is Matt, Blue Collar Entrepreneur. Check out his YouTube channel, it's pretty good. Is using these Uniseals, and I'll have an Amazon link down at the bottom. It's an affiliate link. If you buy one off of it, you save about, you don't save anything, but I make a couple bucks. But I just have the Amazon link so that it's easy for you to find. But you could use these too. You just have to make sure you're cutting, so follow the instructions on what size hole you're going to use, because they're a little different than cutting for your traditional bulkhead fitting. But these are really nice also. We've used these a couple of times, and all you have to do is slide your 1/2 inch PVC or 1/2-inch poly braid hose through the Uniseal, and it makes a nice seal right here. So on this way, you don't have any type of fittings or anything, because a lot of times on these type, you get leaks here. If these vibrate and loose, and the fitting up here becomes loose, it can suck in air and can cause your soft wash or your downstream or whatever to suck in air and not perform properly. So these are nice. They're called Uniseals. They look like basically scuppers or drain things on boats. I think that's probably what they actually are. Again, I got this from Brian off of Blue Collar Entrepreneurs YouTube channel, and they work really well. That's what it looks like. It's a nice tight seal. So what you're doing is you're eliminating this connection, and so if you ever have an air leak, you can basically eliminate that it's coming from here, because this is going from the unit, whatever you're plumbing it to, straight to the tank with no fitting up here. So if you had an air leak, you would know it's at the unit, the soft wash system or the pressure washer or whatever it is that you are plumbing to. So that's some options there for building your own drop tubes and bulkhead fittings. I've also got another video installing, it's called Installing a Bulkhead Fitting. I'll put that in the card as well, and then the other one I previously mentioned is called Bulkhead Fitting Installation. So there's two different ones, always updating stuff. I will tell you, in one of those videos I talk about using this black pipe thread sealant. We no longer use this. We had a couple of customers actually that told us that it didn't work too well. Even though it is a sealant, over a period of time it would kind of loosen up and cause the fittings to loosen up. So we use the True Blue, been using this for quite a while, especially when we build our KINGSLINGERs, for all the fittings that are on there. This is a great product. You can get it at Home Depot, vibration resistant, but it acts more as an adhesive as well as a sealant. So that's what we use. You can see where it's blue right there. And so I think the black stuff we used to use because we were told it looked better because it was black, but I'm not as much about looks as I am about performance. So that's why we switched to this. So you'll want to get some of this at Home Depot, Lowe's, or I'll put an Amazon link for this too, if you want to get it off of Amazon. So I think that's basically it. That's how you would make your own drop tubes. Very simple, easy things to do. If you're going to use these types, you're going to have a hole saw. Well, any type, whether you use this, or this, you're going to have the hole saw. Again, check out those videos that I talked about how to install bulkhead fittings. That'll help you determine your size and show you how to drill and prevent shavings and all that kind of stuff getting in your tank if you want. So yeah, bulkhead fittings, how to install a drop tube. If you have any questions, please leave me a comment below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so that you can get updates every time I come out with something. Give me a like and leave me a comment or a question down below. Don't forget about my online video school at pressurecleaningschool.com, and it also has all of the trainings that I offer. Check out that FAQ page. That has a lot of questions that have been asked over the years, along with answers. It explains the pricing, what you get, what you don't get. Talks about our monthly school here that we do. Got one coming up July 12th and 13th. And then we've got one in August and September, and on and on and on. So thank you guys for watching. Give me a like, give me a comment, subscribe. Leave a comment or a question. Thanks, guys. Y'all have an awesome, awesome day.